back to the channel. Today we are joined by amateur Muay Thai fighter and one of the most exciting guys I've ever seen there. Give it up for Newport Mike Salazar. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Justin. I really appreciate the intro, and I'm happy to be here finally.
Awesome, man. So you're about 5 days out from the fight. How are you feeling coming off the tough battle with Ryan Teixeira?
I've had a couple, chances to look back at it, and like I said in the post I made on Instagram and Facebook, honestly, I think it's the best performance I've ever had at Cage Titans. And one of the biggest things about fighting at Cage Titans for me is, regardless of the result, anytime I go in there, it's a crowd that I want to show out for. It's a promotion that I want to show out for, and I've had fights I've won at Cage Titans where I've left feeling like, maybe I didn't really pull the trigger and maybe I didn't really have to show the dog, right? And, I had a fight last year at Cage Titans where I was doing pretty well and I didn't get the win on the scorecards last year in a fight where I thought I was dominating. And I look back at that one with a lot of regret because I didn't have to, show how much heart I had. I didn't have to show how much grit I had. But this weekend against Ryan, he was an amazing opponent. I definitely had to get gritty. I definitely had to show that, I have a lot of dog in me. But I also was able to kind of go into autopilot and show a lot of things that I have been working on. And that's what I'm most proud of. I was throwing my kicks at will all night, and I get to look back and see that my elbow work's improved, my clinch work. He was good at nullifying the clinch work, but the counter elbows were improving. So I'm just really proud of a lot of things, and I look at it as a giant step up in competition for me too.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, it was a hell of a performance.
Thank you.
And after this weekend, it was announced that you're making a turnaround, man. You're going to fight right in Miami, February 15th.
Yes, I am. I'm super excited about that.
Could you tell us a little bit about the fight and how that came about?
Yeah, so I was kind of unsure when I'd be competing in the winter. I was thinking about doing something at the end of December. The opponent fell through kind of last second. And then it was kind of a game of telephone, figuring out what I'm going to do next. I actually had reached out to the Miami, Sean Schubert had reached out to the Miami promotion for me, Freedom Fighters, a while ago. And before I even heard about Cage Titans, they said, hey, we have an opponent for you. Yes. So I was training for Miami months ago. I knew I was fighting there. I had an opponent in mind. And then about 3 weeks before Cage Titans on January 3rd, I get a message from Coach Brian Raposo. He said, hey, I got an opponent for you at Cage Titans January 25th. I was like, oh, all right. So I look at it. I was like, okay, so 3-week turnaround. We could do that. Sean was all about it. He was on board. Brian was on board. So, yeah, I was kind of keeping it in the back burner, waiting to announce it after Cage Titans for sure. And I didn't even know that they were going to collab me in the post a couple of days after Cage Titans, but I was like, well, great timing.
You know about your opponent, and have you watched any film? Do you see any holes or areas in this game you could take advantage of?
Yeah, so I did watch some film on my opponent. He's a lanky, tall Muay Thai striker. What I saw from him that I feel like is going to work to my advantage is he definitely is going to play the kick game with me more. And when guys play the kick game with me, that's something that I really enjoy because it lets me set the pace up on a lot of my offense. So, and I look at it this way. There's a lot of games that I could play with people depending on what type of strategy they want to give me. So I look at this guy's film. He's a tall striker that has a traditional Muay Thai background. So he's probably going to pace himself a little bit more. And he's probably going to want to, stay on his long teeps and his round kicks. And his hands are going to be pretty straightforward. I expect kind of straight punches. And that's the type of guy that I would be, hard pressed to not have a good performance against, because if you want to let me kick with you, I'm going to kick you all night. I'm going to take angles. I'm going to play my game of trying to get around you. And I think it's going to be the footwork, the counter kicking, and the clinches where I'm going to have a lot of success against this kid.
And who's helping you in camp right now prepare?
Yeah, well, yesterday morning I had a great training session with my coach Sean Schubert. I was already back to regiment on Tuesday, so I'm gonna be full steam ahead, continuing my camp. I usually get my sparring in with all the guys at regiment once a week, Red Seal. I also will work with I'll work with Ross Levine sometimes, so I'll probably hit him up and see if he could get me some pads before I go into this next fight. I utilize a lot of coaches that I have great relationships with over the over the years, and with this next fight, I'm basically just continuing the camp that I kind of had planned around for Cage Titans. You know, full steam ahead, probably pads 4 or 5 times a week, class on the side, do my strength and conditioning, and like I never left.
Who's making the trip with you to Miami? Who's going to be in your corner on fight night?
So Sean Schubert is going to be there with me, and I'm actually reuniting with one of my longtime teammates, Kane LaPierre. I'm super excited about that. He's a Fall River Muay Thai fighter. We started training at regiment together when I was very, very green. His older brother is actually Ben Pitsley, who used to own Pro Fitness in Fall River and coach a lot of the OG regiment guys. So he moved down there. He's making his debut with Freedom Fights. I'm making my debut with Freedom Fights on the same night with Kane by my side. So that's going to be awesome. So I'm going to work with his guys a little bit down there. He's at Gracie Tampa South. And we're probably going to, for what I was told, is we're going to try to go to the goat shed a little bit, get some work there, and kind of prep each other. And then, yeah, me and Sean are going to be locked in ready for the 15th.
After this fight, what's next for you? Like, what are your goals for the rest of 2025?
Yeah, for the rest of 2025, my goal is 100% amateur 5-round Muay Thai title fight. I don't care where it is. I'd love for it to be Cage Titans. I want to show Mike that I'm a hard worker and I'm staying active. So I got to get this win at Freedom Miami, and I want a 5-round title fight. I want to also do small glove Muay Thai before the end of the year. I feel like that's a good stepping stone for me as well.
Yes, sir. I would love to see you in a small glove Muay Thai fight.
It's easy to say, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while, and I want to transition to pro striking. So as an amateur, I think getting all these reps and getting a fight with small gloves as an amateur will be a good idea, but gotta train for it. I'm not just gonna take a small glove fight with 2 weeks, 3 weeks notice, but 100%, if I get the call and I got a couple months to get ready, yeah, I'll start training in small gloves and take a small glove Muay Thai fight.
Yes, sir. And Mike, another question I actually had for you. So I've seen you do Muay Thai fights, obviously, but is there any interest in doing a fight down the road at all?
So I think that while I'm still young and an amateur, it wouldn't hurt to, but my goal honestly is to transition to something that has more of a striking rule set. I really like Karate Combat. I really, really like their rule set. I really like that they just added, more Muay Thai. So now you could throw elbows in it, and the striking seems to favor the stuff that I've been practicing for all these years. So, yeah, down the line, that's definitely where I'd like to have a fight. But before that, there's definitely, while I'm still an amateur, a chance of me taking an MMA fight, 100%. I'd have to train, for a whole camp of wrestling and takedown defense, but it's something I'm very willing to do.
What's a daily routine like while you're in camp right now?
So yeah, a good day would be yesterday's a great example because I woke up, drove straight to Red Seal for my pad work with Sean in the morning. We did about hour 15 hitting pads, kind of analyzing the fight last week and talking about Miami and our plan. After working with Sean, I drive about 45 minutes back to Newport. I went to the YMCA, did an hour, 20 minutes of strength and conditioning and my physical therapy workout. And then after that, made some food. I actually made a massive bison and wagyu burrito, 2 of them at my house, homemade. And then from there, I another car ride. I drove 30 minutes to a Sport of Fitness in Warwick to sit in the hot tub and rehab my legs a little bit. So a lot of gym, recovery, training. And once I got home from the gym, just had a nice day eating some dinner and watching TV. But yeah, on my days off, it's completely, training all day, little downtime in between. I love a good walk here and there. Like I love to walk the cliff walk by the ocean when it's nice out, but it's a lot of training every day. And if I have a rest day, it's, maybe I go for a nice walk, grab a coffee with my friends. A lot of great coffee shops around here. So I do like to keep the vibes very, calm and just like every other day when I do have a chance to have a rest day, but there's usually some semblance of training every day.
And how'd you get the nickname Newport Mike?
So funny enough, I was doing fights at Mark Wisher's in Tiverton for a year for my like 2021 to 2022 was when I was doing a lot of them. I did 7 in a row, and no one at Regiment remembered my last name for like the first 3 of them. It was just Mike from Newport. I think it might have been because I introduced myself as, oh, I'm Mike. I live in Newport. Because, I got all these new friends that are pro fighters. Like, I want them to be cool with me. Hey, guys, I live in this cool town where we could all go out and and party all summer. So it's like, come to Newport with me, guys. And you get, like, Aaron Hughes, Mitch Raposo coming to Newport Blues with me every now and then. So it's cool to have those guys, like, come to Newport with me as I'm like a new amateur fighter. And then I start taking fights and they're like, it's Newport Mike. Every single time I fight, they're like, tell the announcer to say Newport Mike. I was like, I guess so. But I think it's so funny. I love it.
That's a cool story, man. And how'd you start your martial arts?
So when I was 4 years old, actually, my mother put me in a school called United Martial Arts Centers in Carmel, New York. It was an after-school program where they actually had this big van, and the van had like a giant graphic of like a bunch of kids in a Taekwondo uniform on it, like doing kicks and stuff like all over the van. They'd pick us up from my school, take us to the martial arts school after school. We'd do like it was a whole camp actually. We'd have like dodgeball for an hour, snack time, movie time, but every single day was 2 to 3 hours of classes, and it was traditional Taekwondo. So I was doing forms, I was doing Hapkido, self-defense, board breaking, and we did do Taekwondo sparring. So at a young age, I definitely fell in love with the Taekwondo sparring, and I competed in a lot of like inter-club stuff where we'd compete against different UMAC schools. And I stuck with that until I was basically leaving high school. So I was an instructor and a third-degree black belt by the time I finished up at UMAC. And once I went to college, I didn't really have an outlet to do martial arts anymore because I'm in a place I'm not familiar with anymore, and I kind of didn't have much of an outlet to do martial arts outside of interclub in high school. So I didn't really think that I was going to go very far with it. I was playing college rugby actually and tennis at Salve Regina for the first 2 years, and around the time that COVID-19 started to hit, all of the college sports I was playing were just totally canceled or like a shell of what they used to be. I remember actually we were playing rugby, like scrimmaging our teammates. It would be like the A side versus the B side. So I remember sometime around that I was like, I gotta find something that's like more competitive for me that I could kind of like really lock in. And I was lifting all the time. I was dieting all the time. I was kind of doing all the things that a fighter does. I was even hitting at Salve, my old college. I'd even go to the gym and I'd hit the bag all the time. And I used to have kids that I played sports with at college say to me, like, dude, you're pretty good at hitting the bag. Like, do you do this? I was like, no, I don't, honestly. And then one of my really good friends, still friends with to this day in Newport, my boy Julian, we were sitting down one night and we were just like, what if we gave the MMA thing a try? And all the wheels started spinning. I start going on Google. I look up MMA gyms near me. and I see that regiment's like 15 miles away. I'm seeing, oh my gosh, Jorgen De Castro, UFC fighter, Mitch Raposo, UFC fighter. These guys are amazing. So I was 20 years old, and I kind of just motivated by seeing that there was such high-level fighters training so close to me. I think I went to class that Tuesday, and it was kind of just never looked back since.
That's awesome, man. And so after you put in all your time and everything, what's going to be your go-to post-fight meal after the next one?
Oh my gosh, probably. It's so crazy because I always miss French fries so much when I'm in fight camp. So whenever I'm weighing in, I'm like, damn, I miss French fries. So it's easy to say French fries, but if I'm going to be more specific, I really, really enjoy a good spaghetti carbonara. That makes me feel so good after a fight. Pasta. Maybe if I go to a nice Italian restaurant, get some gelato for dessert, because I do love dessert.
What's your favorite kind?
Let's see. There's a Italian restaurant. Actually, this is a total. Everyone's getting the inside scoop right now. If you go to Newport and you want a really amazing Italian restaurant, there's a place called Mama Luisa, and they have this dessert display where they don't show you the dessert menu. They come to your table and they have every single dessert already made so that you could look at it. And they just kind of model them for you. So you eat your meal and you're like, all right, whatever. Like, let me see the desserts. You think you're just gonna get a menu? It's a coconut gelato inside a coconut. It looks crazy. A pineapple gelato inside the bottom half of pineapple. So I get one of those. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
You could fight any fighter in history. Who would it be?
Wow. If I could, wow. Anyone in history. I'm gonna think of someone whose style I think kind of, you know what? I would say, because this is someone that used to kind of inspire me when I was not really fighting yet, I'd probably, I'd go Tony Ferguson, man. That guy's a dog. I've been watching him since before I ever even had any idea that I would do a fight myself. He's just a class act. He's a veteran. He's a dog. And I am super, super inspired by that guy's work ethic. So probably Tony Ferguson.
That'd be a good matchup, man. That's about all I had for you today. Are there any teammates, sponsors, or socials you want to shout out before we go?
So on Instagram, I am Newport Mike 155. I am always looking for sponsors. So if there are any companies that would like to help out with my fight camp, my travel down to Miami, hit myself on the DM. I'm always open. I'm always happy to promote and work with new sponsors. And yeah, as far as my teammates, Jorgen De Castro, February 1st, this weekend at Mohegan Sun, Bare Knuckle Fight Championship. Everyone tune in. It's going to be a banger fight, and I cannot wait to see his performance. And from there, we have Aaron Hughes is going to be at Shriners at CES February 20th, I believe, taking on Lucas Rosa. Aaron is a savage. He's been working so hard for this fight. I know he's going to come out and have a great performance. So tune in for those two guys coming up really soon. And the rest of the team is going to have a lot coming up on the back burner too. So just stay tuned in.
And for those of us in New England like that can't make it to Miami, where can we catch the stream for your fight?
Awesome. So if you go on Freedom Fight Promotions on Instagram, they will be posting all of the pay-per-view links. The weigh-ins are the 14th. Usually by the time they have weigh-ins, everything's posted all over the Instagram. I will be blasting all of the pay-per-view stream leaks on my Instagram by then as well. So once we get closer to the fight, all those links should be on my Instagram, on Freedom Fight Promotions Instagram. You can follow them on Instagram too if you want to keep up with everything at Freedom Fight Promotions, and everything's going to be updated as we get close to it.
Best of luck with the rest of camp, man, and I can't wait to see you perform February 15th.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me, Justin, and I'm really excited to show out and represent New England.
Absolutely, man. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, you too.